Hello everyone, and welcome back to Formula 2 for the final round of the championship. So, the intermediate screen between practice and qualifying that you are seeing right now has finally decided to show up for work. This screen has not been here all season long, and this is the screen that allows you to change the difficulty of the AI, which is a very useful thing to be able to adjust between practice and qualifying one way or the other. But anyway, it hasn't been there all season long until now. So that's a little bit annoying because on this particular occasion I didn't actually need to adjust the difficulty after practice. It was about right from the previous round. So let's see how things go here in Abu Dhabi. It's well, I haven't actually driven this the new layout of the circuit all that much with the banking, but anyway, we move straight on to the end of our second flying lap. We move into well, P6 ultimately after position settle, and all the way down into P10 once everyone sets their first round of flyers. So an okay lap. We had two purple sectors but red in the middle, so we definitely didn't get all our best sectors together on that lap, but we'll see what we can do. And as we go on for another lap, no improvements unfortunately in the early stages of the lap, but we do a purple final sector, but still it's not enough to improve our time, and it's going to be P10 for us in this session. But reverse grid pole for the sprint race isn't too bad.
Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Unfortunately, Kushmani is nowhere to be seen. He qualified way down the back, but both the drivers and teams championships are wrapped up at this point, so we're not too worried about that. We set our best sectors on 3 different laps, so we could have qualified a bit further up the field if we managed to get all our best sectors together. But anyway, that's that. So, let's see. We've got Jack Doohan alongside us on the front row for the sprint race, but it's Teo Porcher who takes pole position for the main event, with Enzo Fittipaldi, Jay Derubala towards the front of the field as well. Frederic Vesti, I should say, up in P4. So yeah, let's see how things play out.
So today, the sprint race, no pit stops, just full on pace. It's all about speed, daring, and sheer driving skill. What, I wonder, is in store for us today? Yas Marina Circuit is a 3.2-mile racetrack built on the man-made Yas Island. In addition to the 16 corners, it features 2 very long straights. Now these will be the drivers' main overtaking chances today into Turn 5 and Turn 7. Welcome to the Formula 2 commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alex Brundle joins us as ever for this. Alex, it's a sprint race. How's the format change going to affect the mentality of the drivers?
Well, there were plumes of dust coming off the cars at the beginning of free practice, so not a lot really. Quali's on the other compound of tyre usually. So for the sprint race, you kind of finger in the air, figuring it out.
Alrighty, we're here on the grid for the sprint race here in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, medium tyres for this one. No weather to interfere, which of course is quite normal for Abu Dhabi. Very rarely get rain here, but it can technically happen on rare occasions. Anyway, like I said, we're starting on reverse grid pole, so yeah, let's get cracking, see how this goes. 5 red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the sprint race in Abu Dhabi. And it's an alright start for us off the grid. We actually get a really nice launch there as we head into turn 1 unchallenged from Jack Doohan behind. And yeah, we should be good to maintain the race lead through the opening stages. So we're still on a little bit cold tyres. Hard to warm up the tyres in these nighttime conditions. You can still see putting a little bit of energy through them towards the hairpin. And hopefully we can get a nice exit here and not have to worry about being under pressure. The slipstream is quite powerful along this back straight, but we managed to hold on for the first few laps. We continue on though, awkward line into the final sector, running a little bit wide there, and then a full spin as we come through the left-hander and the 4th to last corner, and oh, that was close as we tried to flick spin it around. Maybe a little bit cheeky there trying to do it in that exact location, but we managed to get going again without losing a horrendous amount of time, but we drop into P10 behind Enzo Fittipaldi, so not ideal, but that certainly could have been worse. We could have wiped ourselves out of the race with that flick spin if that went slightly differently. But here it is on replay then, and yeah, we just dropped it, and it was as simple as that. Maybe a little bit of dirty tyres after going off the road, but mostly the tyres were just cold. And you know what, after that spin, the car actually handled so much better. After flick spinning it around, we were starting to get some good tyre temperature going. So yeah, we make the move on Enzo Fittipaldi through the banking. We're about to pull exactly the same move on Teo Porcher, holding a higher line on the entry, tucking in on the exit, using the banking to power out of the corner, and that gives us a really nice launch into the next part of the track, and yeah, helps us make that move. So things going well so far for us on the recovery drive, as there's a mechanical failure for Brad Benavides in the final sprint race rather of his season, or of everyone's season. But anyway, we make the move back down the inside of Teo Porcher, as he did briefly get back past us towards the chicane, but no issue there. We are able to hold on, and hopefully we can start to push away. Next up is Jane Deruvala, the Indian driver, and we make the move down the inside into the chicane, and yeah, once again we should be able to get this.
Good work, great pass.
Get this one done nicely. Got the DRS to help us stay ahead. Here's the onboard with Deruvala. We were super late on the brakes, a little bit cautious, and then had to make sure we did actually get the full car down the inside, force him to give us the space, and Deruvala played his part there. And oh my, wow, Jane Deruvala instantly after that, mechanical failure, and Jane Deruvala is out of the race. So wow, that's unfortunate for Jane Deruvala. But anyway, as we continue on, little peek and hole move down the inside of Isaac Hadjar. We get the job done there. Hadjar does try to come back at us, but he was a little indecisive which way to go, and ended up running out of track. Next up for us is Frederic Vesti. We make the move down the inside of the Prema driver, and we'll make our way through the hairpin there. That was a tentative move to begin with. We had to fight for it throughout the corner, but anyway, we go aboard now with Frederic Vesti. He lifted there. He could have actually gone for the move, but anyway, he opted to stay behind. We've got better pace at the moment, I suppose. But anyway, we go for the move down the inside of Arthur Leclerc, the Dams driver, as we try and get it rotated through the hairpin. Leclerc with the switchback though, as we run side by side. We've got a better exit, and Leclerc has to slot back in behind. So we are charging through the field. Victor Martins is up next, and once again we're going to try this little switch move, tuck in on the exit of the banking, power down on the exit, and that is a move on Victor Martins up into the podium places now. So yeah, the recovery drive going quite well, but a little way to go before we catch up to these two. Dennis Hauger making the move on Jack Doohan, the two former Formula 3 title combatants, now duking it out in Formula 2 once again for a sprint race victory now. And Hauger has the upper hand at the moment and leads the way for the first time this race, but Jack Doohan isn't done yet. He's right on the back of the MP Motorsports driver, almost pushing the Norwegian into the banking, but no way to get back through just yet for Jack Doohan. And the more these two fight away, the more it brings us into the fray. So here we go, along the back straight once more. Jack Doohan with the DRS, and he makes an easy move on Dennis Hauger there. So I'd say Doohan probably has more pace based on what we just saw along the straights and how much easier that overtake was for Doohan. And we go for the move down the inside of Hauger. It's a late one, but we get the move done. We get it stopped, and they're fighting away behind. So Hauger is obviously caught off guard by that, and is now going to lose out to Victor Martins as well. It was a monumental lockup for Hauger. He barely kept it on the track, came charging back towards the racing line, almost crashed into Victor Martins there. But that was a chaotic moment for Dennis Hauger, and that's cost him not only second, but the podium entirely. We go back to myself then, and with just a couple of laps to go in this race, we have a chance of catching Jack Doohan, but we need to drive well, and we need to try and close in this gap. We'll be within DRS range, so towards the chicane, and we'll see if we can line up a good exit here, trying to straighten it up as much as possible. And now, power down on the exit. We'll get the DRS towards the chicane. We might be able to make this move and recover back towards the race lead. We try and make the move to the outside, try and get a better run through the left-hander. It'll also give us the inside for the next one, but we're too late on the brakes. We can't get it stopped, and we're going to have to cut the chicane, and we'll have to lift out of it and give the place back to Jack Doohan. And yeah, we do just that. So Doohan back in front, and we'll have to sit behind once more. So that was unfortunate. We had our chance. And now we are really under pressure from Victor Martins, who's down the inside into the banking. Side by side we go, and there's no way to get through there for the Frenchman. Will hold on to the position. But yeah, that was a little reminder. We cannot let this slip, and we can't just relax. We need to keep attacking. But if we do something, we have to make sure it works, because Victor Martins is there, ready to pounce. The top three in the race now closer than ever, with Victor Martins pushing late on in this one. But we're right behind Doohan, although we go a bit deep and a bit wide through the final corner, drifting it out on exit. And Victor Martins is once again closing into us. Now we begin the final lap of the race. Jack Doohan with a margin, as we are under pressure from Victor Martins once more. But I think we've got the best pace, so long as we can keep things under control as we head through the first sector once more. Taking a lot of that inside curb. We're really trying to push for everything we're worth at the moment. But you can see Jack Doohan has a bit more of a margin than what we do over Victor Martins. We gain a little bit of time through the left-hand hairpin there, but we've got a long way to go in this lap, so there's still opportunity to chase down Jack Doohan. Let's see what happens this time towards the chicane. We have the DRS open, so we're closing and closing on Jack Doohan, but we're not close enough to go for a move just yet. Doohan making no mistakes in this race and staying very calm under a lot of pressure from Dennis Hauger earlier, and now myself and Victor Martins both pushing on towards the end of this one. This is really the last overtaking opportunity though, so can we make the same move we made earlier on in the race against so many other drivers? We'll go for the move down the inside into the banking, and it's gonna be a monumental slide on the exit, and now that might just compromise us enough for Jack Doohan to slip back through. The Australian driver retakes the lead, and we are now right in behind him once more, throwing everything at it into the right-hand hairpin in the final sector. Victor Martins right there, ready to pounce as well. We're not close enough to Jack Doohan to do anything in the final few corners, and I think the Aussie driver is going to hold on. So here we come, round the final few corners, a last-ditch effort into the final corner, leaning on Doohan's right rear tyre, but we're not close enough to make the move efficiently there. And Jack Doohan is going to take the victory here in the final sprint race of the season in Abu Dhabi. We'll finish in P2. Victor Martins throwing everything at it in the final few laps in P3 and making some good progress in the closing stages. Here's the onboard with Doohan. You can see the extra speed and the monumental slide through the chicane, and we just couldn't get the turning done. And that's how this one ends.
Pick up rubber and bring it home.
Victor Martins in protest, just zooming past us after the finish line. Whew, that was intense. Driver of the day, hold a second place. Righto.
It's a superb drive. It's victory for Jack Doohan.
Well, sprint races are basic, aren't they? And that's why we like them. Set them all going and let them have at it. And they really showed the racecraft and pace that you need to win one.
Another race and another victory for Virtuosi as we see the drivers make their way out to the podium for the final ceremony. Superb racing out there today and a well-deserved win.
So it is race victory for Jack Doohan for the final sprint race of the season. Second place for us and P3 for Victor Martins. A tense fight in the closing laps. Well, apparently Alex Jakes and Alex Brundle went home early. No post-race commentary there, but anyway. Yeah, that was a fun race actually. Would have been a bit boring if we just stayed down in front the whole time. I have managed to do that before, but it is pretty rare. Normally when I'm in front I end up doing something stupid, and yeah, once again that proves to be the case. But anyway, let's have a little run through the full top 10 or top 8 points scorers. Obviously it was Jack Doohan ahead of myself, Victor Martins, Arthur Leclerc, Dennis Hauger ended up finishing P5 after that massive lockup. I don't know when I've last saw a lockup that big. Normally you just see these little ones that might just push them, you know, half a metre or so off the racing line. That was monumental from Dennis Hauger there. But anyway, Isaac Hadjart P6, P7 for Teo Porcher, and 8th place for Frederick Vesti. We had the fastest lap at the end of that one for the bonus points. Rounding out the top 10 was Enzo Fittipaldi and Clement Novalak sneaking in there as well. So, with that said, obviously there's not too much to discuss in terms of the Drivers' Championship. We are still, well, we've got that locked away now, so yeah, really it's just the minors left to be sorted. Kushmaini maintains at P6, though well, Ollie Behrman's no threat, he's not starting inside the top 10, but Victor Martins is only 9 points behind, so yeah, there's more than 50% chance of Victor Martins potentially overtaking Kushmaini, because he would only need a top 5. So yeah, we'll see how that goes in the sprint race. Sorry, in the feature race. He had very good pace in the previous one, so in the sprint race. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, in terms of the team's championship, again, there's not really anything to cover there. Interestingly, just while I was reading through the results, or the championship standings rather, I noticed that only one driver is yet to score this season, that driver being Roy Nassani. So there's one opportunity left for the Israeli driver. Let's see how it goes.
Welcome then to the United Arab Emirates. Our F2 drivers are on the grid, and we're moments away from lights out for the start of the Formula 2 Abu Dhabi race. To the Yas Marina circuit offers 16 corners and a lap distance of around 3.2 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 5 and 7. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed and plenty of excitement for the fans, no doubt. Here are the starting positions for today's race. Teo Porcher has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Enzo Fittipaldi in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Deruvala, Vesti, Isaac Hadjar, Martins, Hauger, Leclerc, Doohan, Ralph Boschung, Benavides, Novalak, Ayumu Awasa, Roman Stanek, and for sure, Nissani, Behrman, Jack Crawford, Correa, Maloney, Miney, and Amory Cordial completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Hello one, hello all, and welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, he is Alex Brundle, and we have changeable conditions today, Alex. How does that uncertainty affect the strategy?
Well, uncertainty is what strategy is all about, but it absolves the teams from the responsibility of running both compounds of tyre. They might have to use that wet tyre, of course, and then the question is, where do those crossovers lie between the wet and dry conditions?
Right, mate, I know it's hot in that cockpit, believe me, but your tyres are even hotter than that. You've got to work really hard today to keep them cool, otherwise we're going to suffer with our performance.
Alrighty then, so here we are on the grid, ready for the feature race, the final race of the season. Before we even get into any of this, unfortunately I didn't actually record the opening stages of this race. Kind of just forgot to press the button, so we're watching this one from a replay camera. Softs to mediums is the strategy as we get underway for the Abu Dhabi feature race, and it's an alright start for us as we head towards turn 1. We'll see if we can make some moves down the inside. A little bit cautious on the brakes. We're just going to try and tuck in behind Arthur Leclerc, but we're still going to gain. Oh, actually, we'll make the move down the inside as we get a little bit too friendly with that inside barrier. But we make the move on Arthur Leclerc and move ourselves up into P8 off the start. So not a bad way to get things going here. We might be able to make another one down the inside of Dennis Hauger there, and that moves us up another position in the early stages of this race. So an aggressive start. We certainly got our tyres up and running in this one in the on the formation lap. So yeah, this has been an efficient start to the race. Hopefully we can continue to push forward in this manner. But next up is Isaac Hadj. Are we close enough? We have to take a little bit of avoiding action into the chicane, just taking a wider line there to make sure we don't make any contact with the Frenchman. It's compromised us on the exit a little bit, but hopefully we'll be okay. No DRS yet, so only slipstream to help out the others in tow behind us. But I think we'll be okay, and we should be able to hold on to the position. And yeah, no threat from behind into the banking. So we're securely up into P7 on the first lap, but still plenty of other cars in front of us to get through if we want a chance at a podium or more in this one. We'll have a look at a replay then of the start, and at the front of the field it was a good start by Théo Pourchaire, who leads into turn 1 and leaves the rest to fight it out for the minors behind. But Théo Pourchaire cleanly away and is on target to take the final feature race victory of the season, but we're not going to jump ahead of ourselves just yet. We continue on, and oh, that's a big slide and a spin for us there at the exit of the banking, and we were struggling for pace. I was pushing on hard, but as the laps continued to wind on, this yeah, was almost inevitable, and yeah, I didn't really, I suppose, cover it, but yeah, after that opening lap, we were struggling for pace. You can see there was a gap in front of us just before that spin, so yeah, that's made things a little bit tricky for us, but it's buried us down in the pack now into P12, so ironically not too different to where we were after our spin in the previous race, but yeah, a bit of a frustrating one because yeah, we're struggling for grip, struggling for pace. We'll make the move down the inside and get one of those positions back.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
Back ahead of Arthur Leclerc, who we overtake for the second time in this race. But as we continue to push on, another slide and another spin at the same part of the track, we get collected this time by Arthur Leclerc.
Red flag, mate. Red flag.
And the red flag is out.
Please. We'll see you in the pit lane.
My goodness. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that section all of a sudden. I never had problems there in the sprint race. Maybe it's just the soft tyres. They changed the handling balance of the car a little bit. A bit more pointy, a bit easier to spin it around. Arthur Leclerc had nowhere to go. Wow, that's game over for Arthur Leclerc. And yeah.
So far, but this is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
The whole field takes a free pit stop for the medium tyres, and we'll be doing essentially just the sprint race to the end. Lights are out, and we're underway much further down the order this time, and probably with some damage to the car. We'll check that out in due course, but we're a little bit busy trying to navigate the opening few corners for now. We'll see what we can do. We're in a little bit of a sandwich here, and we're not able to make any progress, just about pushing the Red Bull liveried car in front of us, but no way through for us at the moment as the side-by-side battle continues. We'll make the move down the inside and take a nice 2-for-1 deal at the hairpin and move ourselves up 2 spots at once, and yeah, start the recovery drive in this race. Now that we're on the mediums, I have to say I was instantly feeling a lot better. So yeah, just the soft tyres I just wasn't clicking with after the first lap or two. I really had no pace on them as Kush Miney goes for a mega move down the inside there, gaining at least 3 places. He loses out to myself on the exit, but that was a huge move for our teammate. But anyway, we're trying to hold him off for the time being because we do want to focus on moving forwards, but Kush Miney is determined to make an impression in this final race, so we go on board.
The side pods have taken damage. You might start to pick up a little bit extra drag. The underbody's taken some damage. Expect some significant impact to performance, I'm afraid.
Yeah, like I was saying, back on board with myself, and we do have quite significant damage to the car, so yeah, that's just something we're going to have to live with. thankfully, you know, the Formula 2 cars a little bit less aero-sensitive than F1 cars. Still very, you know, aerodynamically efficient and reliant cars as we make the move on Richard Verschoor, at least to begin with. He might get us back on the exit. We'll have the higher line though and be able to carry that speed around the outside. So the effects aren't as bad as what, you know, damage to a Formula 1 car would be, but they're still not great as we go for a huge lunge down the inside on Roy Nissany there. So yeah, we are finding our way through the field, and you know, at this point I kind of decided it might be funny to try and get Nissany into the points. He's not far away, to be fair, so I escorted Roman Stanek out the way there, and yeah, here's the onboard with Roy Nissany, and yeah, Nissany was able to quite easily get through there. And yeah, he's now a step closer to the points. I've also got a 5-second time penalty as well from that incident with Leclerc, so that's a little bit of a frustrating one. Yeah, I feel like that was more of just wrong place, wrong time.
Good job, nice overtake.
For Leclerc, but ultimately it was my mistake that caused the crash to begin with, so I suppose you could see it that way as well. But anyways, we continue on, absolutely sending it there on Oliver Behrman, and we continue to fight away, but we get the move done on Behrman, and we're going to try and actually keep this fight going as much as we can, or alternatively we can try and push forwards and actually get a result for ourselves. We're going to keep pushing forwards for now, I think. If Roy Nissany can get himself a bit closer on his own, maybe we will try and help him out. But anyway, that was a brief objective, I suppose, in this race. We continue on then, and yeah, we'll see if we can. Big moment there, and two issues at once. Iwasa with the lockup, Fittipaldi with a whole lot of smoke coming out of the engine there, and that is a chaotic moment there for us as we were dodging left, right, and centre. Fittipaldi was already off the racing line, thankfully for us, but he put a whole lot of smoke in front of us for a brief moment there. And Jack Crawford also retires from the race with a mechanical failure and parks perfectly inside Enzo Fittipaldi's car.
That's a red flag. Red flag. Keep the delta positive, and let's have you straight into the pit lane, please.
And the red flag is out once more in this race. My goodness, we made that move, or Russell made that mistake at the wrong time, I should say. But anyway.
Wants to change our strategy for the rest of the Grand Prix if we want to.
Still medium tyres going to the end of the race from here. And yeah, that sun getting ever closer. But second red flag in the final race of the season. This is proving to be a chaotic one.
Yeah. Again.
So yeah, that's two cars out of the race at the exact same moment. 5 red lights are back on though, and we're underway for the final race of the season, part 3. And towards turn 1 we go. It's a little bit of a steadier approach here as we try and navigate our way through. And yeah, we're currently in 9th position, so it's been a fairly alright restart for us, or a fairly alright phase of the race for us, I should say, and we've managed to find our way back into the points, but we'll see how that evolves as we head into the hairpin. We go a little bit deep and a little bit wide there, and that might leave us open to Ayumu Iwasa getting through down the inside.
Lost a position. That's us down a place.
And he does so, moves up into P9, we drop down into P10. But my focus once again shifted to Roy Nissany, just because, you know, Drivers and Teams Championships all resolved now. I just wanted to, you know, set myself a bit of a different goal in this race. So my objective is to make things as difficult as possible for everyone else as we show Ollie Behrman the wide line there, and that gets Roy Nissany and a bunch of others through. Not my most graceful work there, but anyway, we continue on, and we'll start finding our way back through the field once more. It's very tricky trying to get who has essentially proven to be the slowest driver this season into the top 10, but anyway, we'll get there if we try hard enough. Right now though, we've got Roman Stanek in front of us. We'll see if we can make the move down the inside of the Czech driver into the chicane. Late on the brakes we go, and we get through on Roman Stanek. So Renaissani is actually in P11 now, so he's actually, you know, we've given him a few spots, but he's found a couple himself as well. So if there's ever an opportunity, it's going to be in this race.
Keep this up. Well done.
Fastest lap of the race shows how much we shouldn't be doing this and actually trying to focus on getting further up the road. But anyway, I don't know. I just want to see this happen. I don't even know why, but I just want to be able to say that.
Move. Good job.
Roy Nissany scored points in what is his final Formula 2 season. Something he didn't actually do in real life. I don't think he scored in the 2023 season. So anyway, as the various battles go on through this race, Nissany is under pressure from Richard Verschoor, and Verschoor is going to be able to get the move done there, unfortunately. So that's the thing with some faster drivers buried in the pack. It's very difficult to keep this going. But anyway, we'll see what we can do as we select our next target ahead, and it's going to be Clement Novalak in the other Trident. So we've already given Stanek a hard time in this race. Now it's time for his teammates, and yeah, we're going to see if we can just run side by side for a bit, cost Clement Novalak a little bit of time, and yeah, hopefully be able to get Roy Nissany into the fight. But Richard Verschoor's found his way in between us in the meantime, so it's going to be difficult. And yeah, we let Novalak take the inside line there. We send it back around the outside though, carry the speed through turn 1, make sure Novalak has a compromised line, and all the while that's allowing the others to close in. So yeah, this is working slowly, and yeah, I just need to work a little bit of magic to make sure that we can end up with the right car in front. So Novalak around the outside, as we're going to hold the inside line, force him out a little bit wide there, give him some space. So all fair racing, but Clement Novalak now is compromised on the exit, and that might give the opportunity to some of the others behind. Richard Verschoor and Roy Nissany both closing in as they go side by side along the next straight. So as we now go on board with Roy Nissany, we show Novalak a slightly wider line there than what he would have liked. He takes a ton of curb there as we swipe across on the exit, and now the seas have parted for Roy Nissany, but Richard Verschoor's on the inside, so these two keep fighting away as well as we all run towards the hairpin. This is absolute chaos, but it's a bit of three-wide action. Roy Nissany is going to make the move around the outside of us though, and the Israeli driver moves up into the top 10 as we made sure Richard Verschoor had no way through on the inside line. So we've achieved our objective for this race. It was always going to be difficult for us to get any meaningful result with the time penalty anyway, so I think that was part of my thinking at the time of why I suddenly switched objectives in this race. But anyway, we continue to fight on, and to be honest, after that, actually, I started to struggle for pace a bit more, so I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the tyres wearing out. I started struggling a bit, but yeah, after getting Roy Nissany through into the top 10, yeah, I really did. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, the pace just seemed to fall away and I couldn't keep up, so maybe the damage got a little bit worse throughout the battle.
Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
Damage can, you know, seem to get worse on its own sometimes, or maybe that was doing more damage to the tyres. But either way, Teo Porcher knows none of that. He takes victory here in the final feature race of the season in Abu Dhabi. Great run for Teo Porcher today. Roy Nissany will take his first point and the final point of the season. Will come across the line, P11 on the road.
The French driver has left them all behind. It's victory for Teo Porcher.
Have you seen one quite as dominant as that, Jakesy? I'm not sure I have. They led every single lap of that one, lights to flag.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
So there we have it. Teo Porcher takes the final race victory of the season. Jane Deruvala takes P2 with Frederic Vesti P3. Well, that brings an end to the season. Wow. Before we get into any of that though, let's briefly go through the drivers who scored points in this race. Table chair with P1, Jane Deruvula P2, Vesti P3 ahead of Hadjar, Martins P5, which I believe puts him ahead of Kushmani in the championship. Jack Doohan rounds out a good weekend with P6, P7 for Hauger, so he gets the better of his Formula 3 rival there. Brad Benavides taking more points in P8, P9 for Ayumu Iwasa, and 10th place for Roy Nassani. Fastest lap going to Jehan Daruvala. So, in terms of the Drivers' Championship then, let us take a look at how everyone stacks up after the final round. It was of course myself in P1, second place in the championship for Frederick Vesti, third place for Deruvula, P4 Teo Portier, then it's Dennis Hauger rounding out the top 5. Martins did get P6, just 1 point ahead of Kushmani. Then it was Oliver Behrman ahead of Jack Doohan, and Ayumu Iwasa just missing, Clement Novalak rounding out the top 10. Ayumu Iwasa just missing out with a very unfortunate season. He was actually 16 points adrift of the top 10. Further down the order though, Enzo Fittipaldi finishes P12. He had some great pace towards the end of the season with some good results in the latter stages for Carlin there, and I believe was the lead Carlin driver. For a fairly strong team, they will be disappointed to have their lead driver 12th in the standings. Brad Benavides P13 ahead of Isaac Hadjar, the first of the high-techs, in 14th in the standings. So tough season for high-tech. But anyway, P15 for Richard Verschoor, the first of the Van Amersfoorts, ahead of Arthur Leclerc in the second of the Dams cars. Then it was Zane Maloney, so yeah, really a tough season for Carlin. Maloney down in 17th. Jack Crawford in the other high-tech in 18th. Roman Stanek in 19th for Trident. The other Van Amersfoort of one, Manuel Correa, P20. 21st for Amari Cordial in the Virtuosi, a long way behind Jack Doohan, and then Roy Nassani rounding out the point scorers. Cordial and Nassani 1 point each, 260 off the championship lead. In terms of the team's championship then, we lead the way there. We won that one last time out. MP Motorsports grabbed P2 ahead of Prema. ART put up a good fight, but ultimately it wasn't quite enough for them to move up into the top 3. They were just 3 points adrift of Prema at the end of this final round. Dams were next ahead of Carlin, then Virtuosi, Trident, PHM, High-Tech and Van Amersfoort last in the team's championship. But yeah, a few close battles amongst all that. Virtuosi just 2 points ahead of Trident, so funnily enough, those 2 points Amari Cordial, or that 1 point Amari Cordial scored, would not have made a difference there in the slightest. Yeah, anyway, that is going to do it for the statistics and stuff. A fun season. I really enjoyed the Formula 2 racing this time around, as I always do. But yeah, we are running out of time in this episode, so we'll be starting the next Formula 2 season soon enough. But until then, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.